picked up by Kansas City. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Welcome home, Isaiah Pacheco. It is good, good, good. Who got him? Chris Jones got him. Mahomes looks that way. He's going to go wide open left side. Kelsey, touchdown.
Hey, we're way past the you can't make this up stage. We're way past all the adjectives. Mitch Holthus with you here on Chiefs Rewind, celebrating a 9th consecutive AFC West title with a boink field goal. Good to walk it off. The third kicker, Matthew Wright, we're going to talk to him later in the show, to have a walk-off field goal this year for the Chiefs. You can't make it up, Matt, but here we are. A T-shirt and a hat, and the Chiefs win the AFC West 9 straight years.
9 straight years. Think about that. Almost a decade straight of winning this division. That does not happen in pro football. I think it's the 2nd longest streak in NFL history, behind only the Patriots in terms of winning your division every single year. This is remarkable. And just doing it with a bang, of course. Once again, just doing it in Chiefs fashion, making sure we're all waiting until the very end. Never a doubt, Mitch.
We're going to get into this game a little bit more, but let's just take the last sequence of events. First of all, Cameron Dickers had a great year for the Chargers. They take a 17-16 lead, a stop by the Chiefs, big sack by Bolton, but he kicks short of the landing zone. It is only the 19th time this year that any kicker in any game has kicked either out of bounds or short of the landing zone. That gave the Chiefs the ball at the 40, needing a field goal to win. The Xavier Worthy play of 14 yards was huge. Your thoughts?
Well, here's the thing. The Chiefs still had to take advantage of it. So the Chargers gave Kansas City an opportunity. And that's the thing when you're playing a team like the Chiefs, the back-to-back champions, you can't make a mistake like that because the Chiefs will make you pay. And Patrick Mahomes, on a night where the offense didn't have a ton of success, says, okay, let's go win the football game. They took over with like 4.5 minutes left. They go 14 plays, 47 yards against the #1 scoring defense in the NFL. Don't forget about that. I know we're all used to the Chargers. We see them twice a year or so. We just think they are what they are. No, this is the #1 scoring defense in the NFL. They have allowed the fewest points of any team. And in crunch time, the Chiefs said, let's go win the game, and they got it done.
To your point, this is the Chargers. They're now 8-5. In their 13 games, 11 times they have now held opponents to 20 points or less. 11 times. So much like the Chiefs of a year ago. But another big play. Mahomes able to scramble to get a first down. And then the Kelsey play, 3rd down and 7. He makes a catch on his knees to give the Chiefs a first down. The Chargers are out of timeouts. And on that play, Travis Kelce sets an all-time NFL record because he's had 80-plus receptions in 9 straight years. That's the most of any pass catcher, any position, not just tight ends, on that play. It was only fitting.
And that was a huge play because if that pass falls incomplete, there's still, I don't know, like a minute 45 left on the clock. Chiefs kick the field goal, but the Chargers have plenty of time to maybe get in field goal range themselves. Who else, though, besides Travis Kelce, to basically ice the game for Kansas City and set up yet another walk-off?
We have a hat, we have a T-shirt, we have a victory, we have a 12-1 season. We have the craziest 12-1 season maybe in NFL history, and we have a head coach who changed everything back in 2013. We're going to hear from him now.
All right. What a great win to come out of this evening with. Appreciate our fans and the light show and everything else that they put on. It was phenomenal. And they all hung here to the end, which is great support for our guys. As far as the game goes, defensively, we really, I thought, played well the first half and held it really good. Offense, quarterback to minimal yards. Morton with the 2 sacks, I thought was big. Chamari, 8 tackles. And then the second half, they kind of got it going. But when it counted, we took care of business there. Offensively, Pat was 23 for 46. Pacheco, 14 for 55. I mean, good numbers for him. It's great to get him back in there and going. He and Kareem are a nice tag team to have. And then P. Ryan also had a huge play for us there. And then Xavier was 5 for 41, which was good there. 8 guys caught passes today, so that was a plus for us. Third downs, again, were very good. So Nags and Spags both put together, I thought, solid game plans that really helped us through. And then, Kels with, I want to make sure I say this right, but fastest tight end to reach 12,000 yards. I mean, it's pretty impressive. And the game's been around a couple of years, so it's pretty impressive to do that. Justin Reed on special teams stepping up and kicking off for us. Not a lot of safeties in the league are doing that right now, and I thought he did a nice job. Ariza came up big on the punt game, and then Matt Wright. Listen, I mean, he never looks at himself as the third guy. I told him, just keep it right, a little to the right, just a little bit more. But my hat goes off to him for the field goals that he made in tough situations, plus that one at the end was great. So, anyways, well, that time's yours.
Andy, after the first down inside 2 minutes, how much consideration did you give to keeping the offense charged and trying to get a touchdown rather than positioning for a field goal?
Yeah, so, I mean, I've trust in Matthew, so I was good with where we were. Percentages are pretty high. I know we've won a game in that same situation on the opposite end, so I get it. But he's a solid kicker, so I wasn't too worried about it. Once we got down in there, now to get down in there was a nice job by our guys. To that play that Pat and Kelsey made right there at the end was something. So that's not quite the way it was drawn up. Yeah, it was a naked, so with the back on a slide, and they zoned it off, and Pat had it in his hands, which is important, and on the move, which is important. He does some good things with that, and then we had some people coming to him. But listen, I thought the Chargers did a nice job with that. But they zoned us off. That's more of a man thought. They'd been playing man up to that point. They've been zero blitzing us. So if they would have done that, it would have been a great call.
So I know that if he's not maybe the first option to throw the ball, but you've seen this actually certainly make a play out of nothing several times. What can you kind of take us through your thought process when plays unfold and you see that they've covered maybe what you want?
Yeah. I mean, I have trust in Pat making those kind of plays. He kind of said that before the play. He goes, I'll make something happen. So he has the option to run. He has the option to throw to the back, and then everybody's coming to him on that. So I thought he did a good job there.
Got bigger goals, obviously, but how sort of fundamental is winning the AFC West into all the other goals you've had, and in this instance now, what it is for what you're doing this season?
Yeah, listen, but I am proud of the guys. I mean, the coaches, Clark gives us an opportunity to do this along with Mark Donovan and Brett Veach. So, I mean, we're all in this together trying to make this happen. It's not easy. I mean, that's not an easy thing. And every year is a little bit different on how we've gotten there. But I'm proud of our guys for just hanging in there. We have so many tight games, more so than some of these other years. And so the guys keep hanging in there and feeling like good things are going to happen and keep battling.
Andy, what kind of achievement is winning the division again, given that, as you say, down to the wire nature of most of these games?
Yeah, listen, Adam, I mean, it's early in the year here, so we've still got games left. So when I say this, we're not just putting the tent up right here and calling it a day. So we've got to keep playing and playing aggressively. And like I said, we're playing some real good football teams that are trying to get themselves into the playoffs. So they're going to be hungry and attacking. And so we've got to make sure we keep doing it. But to answer your question, it's a great achievement. It's a great achievement. But there's more left.
Considering the week or two that Wanye has had, what did it say about him to come in?
Yeah, no, I'm proud of him for, number one, not hanging his head, practicing hard, and then coming out when, you're one injury away from having to step in and go. And then he did a nice job, and he had stayed up on all of his stuff, the mental part of it. He had stayed up on it and was sharp once he got in there.
What did you think of how DJ played in the time that he was out there?
Yeah, so I think initially it was fast for him. And then he settled down, and I thought the second half he was playing well. So he just, which I figured would happen. He hasn't done anything. So with that kind of speed out there, and then the physical part of it, these guys, they try to drive you right back into the quarterback with their bull rushes, and they're very, excuse me, they're very good at it. So he did a nice job. Not too many more questions.
Did you ever get used to these heart-stopping wins?
Not as I'm living. All right, good.
Okay, if you had Matthew Wright on your bingo card kicking a game-winning walk-off field goal to win the 9th straight AFC West title, bingo. But we've got the bingo man with us here, Matthew Wright. Let's go to the last kick. Have a chance to run the clock down. Walk us through it. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I felt real good on the sideline. Obviously, I had a bunch of kicks today, and they all were real good right down the middle, so I felt confident. But obviously, that kick has a little more on it, and clearly I did something a little bit different, but I'm just happy it went in.
It went in. It hit the left upright and went over, so it's good. Now, we were talking about, it looked like you wanted to be on the right hash. So walk us through that, because we stayed on the right hash. We didn't put it middle.
I didn't ask for anything. I was just ready to kick it wherever it was. I like to think if it's that short, you should make it no matter what spot it's at.
Your story is about as amazing as the Chiefs winning all these walk-off games, being 12-1, winning the AFC West for a 9th straight time. You were with the 49ers. You kicked against Seattle. I thought you were going to kick against us. Then Moody comes back at the 11th hour, and then you're with us. What has this journey been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, teams keep calling me, and I just keep going and trying my best to make my kicks. And I'm just like real happy that I'm still around, still doing it. Just keep trying my best to keep making kicks.
Let's talk about these other kicks. These are big kicks. The first one is lengthy at 47. Then you nailed a 50-yarder, which is a big-time kick. What about those kicks in specific and your other good one?
I think that 47-yarder is one of the hardest kicks I've ever hit, because there's a pretty good wind coming in and right to left, and then it was raining at that time. So I was real glad I made that one to get me off to a good start. And the 50-yarder felt great, obviously. Yeah, just felt good.
And these kind of games, that's such a slim margin. But what about being here? Now, you've been with a bunch of teams. You've been with the Steelers 4 times. And I'm gonna get to that in a second, because it's going to be really a testimony to you and your medal. But being around here and being involved in a team that's trying to make history and having these big kicks, what is it like? Because every day going to work is a little bit different than your other places right now.
Yeah, I try not to think about that as much as I can. I know it's easy to say, but I just say the same thing over and over again in my head and just tell myself to relax, and every kick's the same. Obviously that one was a little different, but try to treat every kick the same.
Well, you can tell your grandkids on your knees someday that you won give them 9 straight AFC West titles. What about Winchester snapping and then Ariza holding, and the fact that you guys have, and your protection group?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, because obviously they've had to change kickers 3 weeks in a row, or not 3 weeks in a row, but whatever it is. And it's hard because each kicker has a different way they lean the ball. They have a different routine. So James has to adjust his stuff. Matt has to adjust his stuff. And then obviously the line does a great job here and make sure that the kicks get up.
Again, Matthew Wright with us. One final question, and I'm going to say this as a compliment, because I went through every one of your transactions, every one. 47 transactions. And yet you're kicking in this game and making field goals. What about that and staying with it and your mind, body, and soul and hanging in there?
I mean, yeah, my wife is huge in just helping me stay with it and keep me with confidence as I go through this. But yeah, just try my best to go out there and make my kicks when I'm called.
You know what? You're an answer to a trivia question. One, you had the all-time kick here back in 22, and then Bud said, I got to take you out. But now you get this kick. So the Chiefs, even though you've had all these transactions, there's got to be a little bit special place in your heart for you and your wife with this team.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they gave me a Super Bowl ring in 2022, so that's awesome. I'll never forget that. But yeah, special place for sure.
9 straight AFC West titles because of Matthew Wright and his stick-to-itiveness.
I want to start off by congratulating Andy, the coaching staff, the players, our entire leadership team on a hard-fought win tonight and clinching another AFC West division title. It's a tremendous accomplishment. My hat goes off to Andy and the players for sticking with it. Obviously, tonight was another very close game. It seems like every time we play the Chargers, the games are like this, and we certainly overall have had a bunch like that this year. Go ahead and open it up.
Clark, to that point, I think this is the sixth or seventh time, depending on how you evaluate it, that you guys won on the last play. What's that like from your perspective over these last couple of months?
Well, I'm certainly glad that we've ended up on the winning side of those games. As we've been going through it, I've thought a lot about last year, where we had a lot of close games, and they tended to go the other way, particularly in November and December. We really had a challenging stretch. So it's a credit to the level of competition in the National Football League. All these guys are professionals. They're very talented. And, our guys have hung in there and found ways to get the W at the end of the game.
I hope I phrase this right. When you guys won the first of these AFC West titles, it was a kind of breakthrough than it is now. Do you remember what that meant then, and what does it do for the franchise now to keep winning?
Yeah. Well, you certainly never take them for granted. I do think in a lot of ways when you do something for the first time, it's more special, and that was not the first time we'd ever won the division. But when we started this streak of 9, I think we were all really excited. We didn't know what was ahead of us. It's been a very special time period for the Kansas City Chiefs, an amazing era of Chiefs football, and the credit for that, goes to Andy, Brett, and their staffs. They've just done a phenomenal job. And I ought to mention the injuries this year. We certainly have had a lot of injuries, particularly at the receiver position. And Brett and his team have done a fantastic job every week, finding a solution, finding somebody who can come in and help us.
Just considering all the roster moves, it's clear the organization's all in on the 3 titles in a row. I was just wondering how important, I know a long way to go, but how important is that as far as, from your perspective and wanting to accomplish that?
Yeah. Obviously, it's a big goal for us. Winning the Super Bowl is the goal every year. If we do it this year, we'll do something that no NFL team has ever done, which is really special. We try to balance that with the long-term perspective. Our goal is to consistently compete for championships, and you've got to be thoughtful in your roster management when you're trying to do that. But Brett and his guys do a tremendous job with that. He's found guys that work within our limited salary cap resources, and they've been able to come in and contribute. DJ Humphries is an example of that tonight.
On that front, what's been your direction to Brett and Andy about balancing that, trying to win a 3rd straight, but also not jeopardizing future years? What's been your direction?
It's really been no different than it's been since they've been here. We've tried to be thoughtful about making sure we're giving ourselves the best chance to win this year, but also putting ourselves in a position where we can win next year and the year after that. As I think about it, head coaches are very much focused on the year at hand, and really they're focused on the week at hand. A really good general manager will be thinking not only about this year, but about the next couple of years. And I think it's part of my role to help the organization think long term. But certainly we have an opportunity to do something, as I said, that's never been done, and we're definitely all in on it.
So when you say it's been part of your role to think long-term, help them think long-term, what's been your direction there in that regard?
Well, we want to put the best team we can on the field every year, and it's just a balance. It's a balancing act, right? You've got the salary cap, and you've got to work with that. It has limitations. To some degree, you can pull some of the salary cap forward if you need to help you in a particular situation like we've had this year, and we've done that a little bit.
On that front, on the injury side, I think I just saw you meeting DJ Humphries for the first time as you were walking through the locker room. You've met a lot of people this year. Is there more injuries and things like that than you've ever had?
Well, I'm sure it feels like that, but statistically, probably not. I'm sure we could go back and find a year where we've had more injuries, but it feels like we've had a lot of very important injuries. That was actually not the first time I'd met DJ. We had a chance to say a quick hello in the hall a week ago, but I hadn't had a chance to visit with him, see how his family's doing, see if he's found a place to live. So it was good to be able to do that.
Last one, just fun stuff. SMU college football playoff. You stay up late and watch the game.
Well, I did one better than that. I actually attended the game, and it was an amazing game, an amazing comeback. Didn't go SMU's way last night, but today they got the good news that they made the playoffs, which is an incredible achievement in their first year in a power conference.
Chiefs win at 19-17 to get a 9th consecutive AFC West title. Turk Wharton is with us now. Tershawn Wharton, 2 sacks in this game. But let's start with winning a division 9 straight years. What does that mean to you and this team?
I think it's awesome. It's a credit to what we do back in training camp and coming along all the way to now, and that's the first hat and we want more.
It has been crazy the way to win these games. How about winning this one the way you won it?
We going to take all the wins we can, it doink, but it went in, so a blessing. It always take a little luck.
Let's go to your 2 sacks. Let's talk about your first one here a little bit. It looked like you stayed right with it on that play. What about, because Herbert's tough to sack. What about your first sack?
I think the coverage helped me out a little bit. My guys on the back end was covering up, and he tried to come up through the middle, and like you said, I stayed with it, and once I seen him, I got off the block.
And how big is it that you stay with it? Because sometimes there's a clock in your head, but the fact that you just stayed effort-wise with that, how much of that have you learned in your career?
I think I learned it a lot. Coach Cullen and BD, those guys helped me and told me just to keep pushing the pocket when I'm in there. Chris get a lot of attention, but that time they sent them to me, and the guard came off to go to George, and I just stayed pushing.
And the second sack, what was that one like for you?
Me and Felix had a little conversation with each other before the play. I told him to do something, and he did it. And once he did it, it kind of came open. So it was going to be me or him that got that one.
Let me ask you about that, because people talk about Mahomes and Kelsey making stuff up. How much does that happen where along the front you tell Felix, hey, do this or that? How much of that is involved here?
I think it's a lot. Over these past few weeks, we've been talking to each other, saying that we want to work with each other, getting Chris going, and we getting Charles back. We want to play off each other to continue to create disruption. So we always got something going in the week that we'll do to feed off each other.
And then to hold them to a field goal at the end, to allow a field goal to win this game. How big was that last drive?
Oh, it was big. They came out second half, and, they got going a little bit. They came out and scored. And, Coach just told us one drive, one series, and that's what we did, and it came out with the win.
You look good in that hat.
Thank you.
You got a bunch of those now.
Yeah, every year for my career.
All right. Tershawn Wharton, 2 sacks in this game. Chiefs win the division for 9 straight years.
It's not really how it's designed. I know you guys were probably expecting man if they run so much, but can you kind of take us through what you're expecting and how you're adjusting once you see it?
Yeah, we expected some man, but we had plans for if it was zone. They did a good job of covering it. And then Trav just played ball and got himself open. And I wanted to get on the edge where I could either fall down and let the clock keep running or try to make a play with the easy type throw. And we were able to find a way to get that throw to Trav there and get the first down.
You said he's playing ball. Is that where you expected him to be, or is he kind of just setting up?
He's supposed to run a corner route, so it is what it is.
It looked like you were about to tuck it and run and kind of cut inside. Mm-hmm. At what point do you realize there's nobody around Trav and you got that throw?
Yeah, no, I went through my reads, how Trav released, it looked like a corner, and then the halfback and a couple other guys. And then as I went ready to run, I just saw 8-7 just sitting right there in the middle of the field open, so I just fired it to him.
When you guys are on the sideline leading up to that play, what's the discussion like on just being safe and running the ball and leaving time on the clock, or you're lobbying to throw it, right?
Yeah, we went through different scenarios, but the coaches have trusted me that I'm going to make a play happen and try to, if not there, that I can fall down and we can kick the field goal for a little bit further. But Yeah, I mean, we knew that they were going to sell out to block the run, and they did a good job on the outsides and the perimeter of kind of passing stuff off in zone. And so just had to make a play, and if it's not there, you fall down and then you kick the field goal from a little bit deeper.
You're creating your own luck a little bit, obviously, with the way you win these games, but what does it feel like week to week to have something peculiar seem to happen almost every game, like even going off the upright tonight?
Yeah, no, I mean, even though I feel like we could have played better, I mean, that's a good football team, a good defense, and we were able to have a good last drive there to get us in field goal range. And as long as we have a chance to go out there and have the football and make a play happen, I feel like we're going to make it happen. And giving Matthew the chance to kick the field goal, and he knocked it through.
That seemed like the first down inside 2 minutes. Were you lobbying to keep the offense going, charging for a touchdown, or were you content to take a knee?
I was content to take a knee. We could have maybe got it a little bit closer, but I mean, when you're in that range, you're expecting to make the field goal, and we trust in our kickers, we trust in our special teams, and that's a huge part of what we do every single day, and we were able to make it and get the win.
And it seemed like you guys are close to the offensive consistency that maybe we've seen in previous seasons. What do you point to that maybe would help you maybe break through a little bit more?
Yeah, I think just got to be able to hit some of these explosive plays. I think that's probably the biggest thing. And once you do that, it opens up everything else. And it seems like we stall out on drives, on little things. And I've said that kind of all year long. But it is close. I truly believe we are closer than we were this year at this point. And it's just about finding a way to prove it on the football field on Sundays. We'll play every day of the week, it seems like, the next few days. But on game days, and then we can kind of go into the playoffs with some momentum.
You have gotten hit quite a bit this season. Can you just take us through what's it like to take hit after hit and still try to operate the offense? And is there anything that you've sort of figured out that your body can withstand the amount of toll you've taken?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of football. You just play the game. We play a lot of good defenses this year. That's the one bad thing about when you win the Super Bowl, you play the best schedule, and we played a lot of good defensive ends and defensive linemen. And I think for myself, it's just finding the soft spot in the pocket. I feel like on some of the early third downs, I was kind of running into where they were looping to, and they had a plan for me in escaping the pocket. And so just trying to find that soft spot. I thought I did better at that as the game went on. And then whenever I was able to make the run at the end. So working a new guy in, trusting in those other guys, I think we're going to be hitting the ground running as the playoffs come ahead.
How'd you feel another AFC West championship? I know you have bigger goals than this, but what kind of achievement is it, particularly given the down-to-the-end nature of all these games?
Yeah, I mean, it's our first goal every single year to win the AFC West, and it's a great division where a lot of rivalries, where everybody's playing each other tough. And I mean, 3 teams are going to probably make the playoffs. I mean, that speaks to the division that we play in. And so to be able to win this division, to gain another game in the playoff picture, it was an important game for us against a really good football team. We found a way to get a win, but now we got to keep building if we want to get to our ultimate goal.
He's only been here, I think it was 12 days ago. DJ showed up. What did you think of the way he performed?
I thought he did a good job. I mean, there's little things here and there. I mean, he's still learning the playbook. So he knows how to pass protect. That's the easy part. He knows how to run block. But the pass-off games with new guys, to know where he can kind of cheat and kind of get subtle cues on my cadences and stuff like that. And he truly is just out there playing football and just one-on-one reps. And he did a good job today. I mean, obviously, I'll go back and look at the film, and hopefully we get him back out there soon. But, I mean, to play all those snaps right off a ACL injury, I was proud of how he fought.
You talk about Travis being the fastest tight end to 12,000 yards. What he means to you?
Oh, man, he means the world to me, man. I mean, without getting, like, emotional, I mean, he's a guy that has really kind of made me who I am in my career, and a true leader on the football field. Someone, everybody says security blanket, but someone that I can just go to at any moment, and he's going to make a big play happen. And as he's gone throughout his career, he's never dropped off as far as his work ethic and the way he leads, and I think that's super important. When you have a guy that's going to have a gold jacket, and he's the hardest working dude on the team.
What do you mean he's made you who you are? Is it in terms of a player?
I think just both. I think just in terms as a player, obviously. I mean, he's someone that he plays on the same wavelength that I do, and it's hard to do that. And I think it takes guys time. So it seems like from the first day, I've kind of been on that same page with Trav, and then seeing him work every day. I mean, everybody sees like the like the personality and on the TV and stuff like that, but you don't see that everyday work ethic that he has. I mean, he's the guy that gets mad when they take him out of practice reps. I mean, that's just the type of work ethic he has. And even for me to come into the league and have a superstar player and see him work like that, it kind of showed me that I'm about to put that work ethic in if I want to get to that level.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
Again, the Chiefs win 9 straight AFC West titles. Really hard to think about it or just soak it in when you think Chargers 15, Raiders 15, Broncos 15, Chiefs 17. They had 8 when Andy Reid took this job back in 2013. But I want to ask you about Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
We mentioned him at the outset of the show, but what about the rest of his game in your opinion?
Yeah, sneaky big game here for Xavier Worthy. We talked about him earlier on the final drive of the game, but don't forget about on the last drive before halftime that ended in DeAndre Hopkins' touchdown. Well, that drive doesn't get going if Xavier Worthy doesn't make an 11-yard catch on 3rd down and 7 that got everything going. Awesome throw by Patrick Mahomes on that as well, kind of evading tacklers and finding Worthy. But Xavier secured it, kept the drive going, and of course he scored a touchdown at the very end. And as we saw in this one, needed every single point in the end.
He's also making physical catches. We know he's not a physical guy, right? He's not D-Hop, but he's making with dudes right on him and taking shots and still making those plays. Big step for him.
Yeah, and it's exciting to see him make those plays in big moments as well. I mean, this is a divisional game against an opponent that wanted nothing more than to beat us. Think about where the Chargers are right now, kind of in their metamorphosis. They're a team trying to show, hey, we can compete with the Chiefs in this division. That's what Jim Harbaugh wants to do. And for Xavier Worthy to step up in big moments in this game, despite the presence of the #1 scoring defense in the NFL, is very encouraging.
Like I said during the week in the shows that we did, and I even opened the radio broadcast tonight, they're where the Chiefs were in 2013, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, there were 4 elevations in this game, including Matthew Wright off the practice squad. 3 guys played their first ever NFL regular season game.
Wow.
One of those, Nico Remigio, with McCole Hardman's injury late in the week. Nico had to play. 21-yard punt return.
Yeah.
I mean, Nico was a factor in this game.
Super happy for him. We just saw him walk by, just smiling ear to ear. It's really cool because we talked about Nico in training camp. We even talked about him in OTAs. How about last year's training camp, saying this guy can play in the NFL. Hasn't worked out so far, but he bided his time. He waited on the practice squad. It says a lot about him as a person, that he had the patience to wait for this moment, but he was prepared for it, and he showed out here tonight. Very happy for Nico.
And in the preseason, he had a 42-yard kickoff return and a 42-yard punt return. So this wasn't a mistake. I've tried to keep him popped up and in private discussions, like, dude, it's going to come. You're going to get a shot. Be ready to go.
It did tonight.
It did tonight. All right, Patrick Mahomes' toughness, a 22nd game-winning drive for him in his career to win this game 19-17. He made tough plays again under duress from this Charger team, which has been the best pressuring team against the pass now since Week 8.
Yeah, since Week 8, they had 23 sacks coming into this game, most of any team in the NFL. And protection had been an issue for the Chiefs over the last couple weeks. Well, Patrick, even though the Chiefs only had 16 points going into the final drive, doesn't care. He's like, let's go find a way to win this football game. That's why he's the best player in football. And I get it, stats and numbers. We want to talk about who is the most passing yards, most passing touchdowns, all that stuff. What really matters is what does Patrick Mahomes do when the chips are down and the Chiefs have to go get points to win a game? He finds a way every single time. So that's why he's the MVP of the league every year, in my opinion, even if he doesn't technically win it.
Also, Kelsey went over 12,000 yards, another milestone for him, the quickest tight end to get to that mark in 38 games. Now, we're going to close this way with your collection.
Yes, the collection. If you've been following me over the years, I have a hat collection of all of our AFC West division title hats. Also the conference championship hats and the Super Bowl championship hats. Left those at the facility. But check this out, everyone. This is a practical, tangible representation of all the championships the Chiefs have won over this division over the last 9 years. Add a hat to that collection. We're living right, Mitch. Let's just keep it going.
This puts it in perspective.
Look at this.
A decade, almost a decade of winning this division. Chiefs win it 19-17 on a walk-off doink field goal, the third kicker to have a walk-off this year for the Chiefs. He's Matt McMullen. I'm Mitch Holthus. You can't make it up. It's on to Cleveland. Who knows what'll happen next week. It's just like binge watching something crazy. So we'll continue the craziness and hopefully 13-1 next week.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and by CommunityAmerica Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.